Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we are going to see how we can apply the lessons from 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel to building a successful e-commerce business. You know, I'm sure you all already know the e-commerce basics, so we're going to go deeper, like way deeper into how to build a truly unique business.
Yeah, building something new and valuable. So 0 to 1, basically that's like the perfect framework for thinking about this.
For sure. I think one of the things that makes Thiel's perspective so valuable is he's not just some armchair theorist, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is the guy who co-founded PayPal and...
Right, and was an early investor in Facebook and SpaceX. So he's been there and done that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he's been in the trenches building these...
He's got the battle scars.
Yeah, exactly. Like these companies that went from 0 to 1.
Yeah.
And so his book, it's like distilling all those lessons he's learned.
Yeah, hard-won wisdom. So Thiel actually starts the book with this really thought-provoking question he asks. What valuable company is nobody building? And at first you're like, whoa, that's kind of intimidating.
It's a big question.
Yeah, it is. But it's also incredibly motivating. Yeah, it forces you to look beyond these crowded markets and start thinking about all the untapped opportunities.
Right. It's not about just copying what's already out there.
Totally. And I think that's such a key point because one of Thiel's main arguments is that so many businesses just get stuck in this trap of competition.
Are we out of the competition trap?
They're constantly battling for a shrinking piece of the pie. And especially in e-commerce, this can feel so intense.
Yeah, you've got countless sellers, all these people offering similar products, and then just slashing prices to undercut each other.
Like a race to the bottom.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Total recipe for burnout. Not exactly a sustainable business model.
Yeah, well.
And this is where Thiel's whole concept of monopoly comes in. Now, before you think we're advocating for unethical practices or something, let's clarify what he actually means by this, right?
Yeah, cool.
He's not talking about dominating an entire market or crushing all competition. What he's really getting at is creating a unique offering, something that allows you to stand apart from the crowd.
Right, to differentiate.
Exactly.
It's more like creating a mini monopoly within a niche.
A mini monopoly. I like that.
Right, so you're not trying to be everything to everyone. But you're trying to be the go-to solution for a very specific group of customers with particular needs.
That makes a lot of sense.
Think about Amazon.
Yeah.
They didn't start by being a giant everything store.
Right.
They started by dominating the online book market.
Yeah, they became synonymous with selection and convenience.
Totally.
Before branching out into all these other areas.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so that's the big picture idea. But how do we actually apply this mini monopoly mindset to our own e-commerce ideas?
Right. How do we actually do it?
Where do we even start?
It starts with finding a problem that isn't being solved well, or an opportunity that others haven't really capitalized on.
Okay.
Thiel calls these secrets.
Secrets,
yeah.
Hidden pieces of knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, this is getting interesting.
These little hidden insights that can give you an edge.
Okay, I'm picturing a digital treasure hunt.
Yeah.
Searching for these secrets buried within market data and
Totally.
consumer trends.
Yeah, you're getting it.
I like this.
It's about asking the right questions and digging deeper and uncovering those unmet needs.
Okay.
Or finding underserved customer segments.
So it could be something recognizing a gap in the market for eco-friendly pet products.
Exactly.
Or understanding the frustrations people have with existing clothing customization platforms.
Precisely.
So it's not just about having a great product. It's about understanding the specific problem you're solving.
Right.
And why your solution is uniquely positioned to address it.
Exactly.
And this kind of brings us back to Thiel's emphasis on differentiation, like you were saying. Creating that space where you're not just another face in the crowd.
Right. It's not just about your product. It's about your brand, your story, your whole customer experience.
Yeah, everything that makes up your brand identity. Take Glossio, for example. I mean, they've built this wildly successful beauty brand, but it's not just about the makeup they sell. It's about this sense of community and inclusivity they've fostered.
Right.
Their marketing isn't about airbrushed perfection. It's about real people and authentic experiences.
Yeah, they've done a great job of differentiating themselves, especially in a market that's so crowded.
Yeah.
By focusing on that emotional connection with their customers.
Yeah, that's so much harder to replicate. than just like copying a product or undercutting a price.
Yeah.
So how do we translate this into like actionable steps for our listeners? How do we actually go about uncovering those secrets and defining our own unique selling proposition?
Well, first, you got to resist the temptation to jump on like the latest trends or to just copy what's already working for others.
Okay, resist the shiny objects.
Right. Spend time really researching your target market. Understand their pain points. Identify those areas where existing solutions fall short.
So it's like being a detective. But instead of a crime scene, we're like analyzing market data.
Exactly.
Forum discussions, customer reviews.
Yeah.
I can dig that.
And don't be afraid to think outside the box.
Okay.
Some of the most successful e-commerce businesses out there,
Yeah.
they found their secrets by connecting seemingly unrelated concepts
Interesting.
or by applying new technology in unexpected ways.
Oh, like Selldone.
Yeah, Selldone's a great example.
The platform that's using no-code solutions to empower merchants. So no-code basically allows anyone, even if you don't have technical expertise, to build like really sophisticated online stores and automate all these different aspects of their business.
Exactly. They've identified a real secret there.
Yeah.
In that, like, traditional platforms like Shopify or WooCommerce, they often require technical knowledge, or you have to rely on expensive developers.
Yeah, that can be a huge barrier to entry.
Right. And Selldone is removing that barrier,
Yeah.
which creates a unique value proposition that appeals to a whole new group of entrepreneurs.
I love that. It highlights the power of like questioning assumptions and looking for innovative solutions that others might miss.
Absolutely.
So these secrets, they're not always like some hidden mystical knowledge.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're hiding in plain sight.
Right. It's about having that curiosity and the analytical skills to actually connect the dots.
Yeah. And see those opportunities that other people overlook.
Exactly.
This is where the real work begins and where the potential for building a truly valuable and successful e-commerce business lies.
Yeah. Finding your secret and defining your unique proposition is really just the first step.
Okay, so what's next?
Well, next we need to figure out how to actually communicate that value to your target audience.
Right, like you can have the best idea in the world, but if nobody knows about it,
Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere.
that's a whole other challenge. And one that we'll tackle in the next part of our deep dive.
Yeah, we'll be back.
We'll explore the importance of marketing and distribution,
Exactly.
how to reach your ideal customers in a way that's both effective and sustainable.
So make sure to tune in for that.
Stay tuned. All right, so we're back. And we've been talking about these secrets, right? These like hidden opportunities that can help you build something truly unique in e-commerce. But you know, a great idea is just the starting point.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Like you can't just build it and expect the customers to just like magically appear.
Exactly. Thiel is really clear on this point. Distribution is key.
Distribution.
Yeah, you got to get your product out there.
So true. And actually, Thiel like cautions against relying too heavily on like traditional advertising, especially in like today's digital world.
Oh, yeah, it's not about just like throwing money at banner ads anymore.
Right, or like interrupting people's social media feeds.
Exactly.
It's got to be more organic.
Yeah, Thiel talks about the power of organic growth, like building a system where your product or service essentially markets itself.
Okay, so like it kind of creates its own ripple effect.
Exactly, a ripple effect.
I like that. So how do we actually create that ripple? What are some concrete ways to achieve organic growth in e-commerce?
Well, I think one powerful strategy is to actually leverage those secrets we've been talking about. You know, if you've really identified a need that no one else is meeting and created a solution that people genuinely love, they're going to naturally want to tell other people about it.
Right. It's like when you discover an amazing new restaurant or find the perfect pair of jeans, you just want to tell everyone.
Exactly. Word of mouth marketing is so powerful.
Especially now when people are just bombarded with ads all the time.
Oh, yeah, totally. And there are ways to actually amplify this natural word of mouth effect.
Okay, how?
Think about things like referral programs.
Yeah.
Like Dropbox. They use that really successfully.
Oh, yeah, they did.
You know, you would incentivize existing customers to spread the word.
Right.
You tap into their networks.
Right.
And you build trust through these personal recommendations.
Yeah, because like people trust their friends more than some random ad.
Exactly.
It's not just about broadcasting a message. It's about turning your customers into advocates.
Right.
I dig it.
And this actually ties back to another key theme from 0 to 1. Building a strong community around your brand.
Community.
Yeah, this is where that emotional connection we talked about earlier really comes into play.
Right. It's not just about selling products. It's about creating this shared experience, a sense of belonging.
Exactly.
Like Glossier with their whole focus on inclusivity and real beauty. They've done a great job of building that community.
Oh yeah, they're a great example. They've cultivated this really loyal following. These people see themselves as part of a movement, not just customers.
That's powerful.
Right. And this sense of community naturally leads to organic growth because people are genuinely excited to share the brand with their friends.
Okay, so how do we build that kind of community in the e-commerce space, though? Like, it feels a little trickier when you're not interacting face-to-face.
Yeah, it can be a little trickier, but it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
I think it starts with authentic engagement.
Okay.
Use social media to connect with your audience on a personal level. Respond to comments and messages. Create content that sparks conversations.
So, like, be a real person, not just a faceless corporation.
Exactly.
Be like a friend.
Right. Build relationships.
Okay, I like that.
Host contests and giveaways. Encourage user-generated content. Offer exclusive perks to your loyal customers. There are a lot of ways to foster that sense of community.
Make people feel valued.
Exactly.
So it's about creating a two-way dialogue, not just blasting out a message. But even with a strong community and good word-of-mouth marketing, there's still a need for some strategic outreach.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Organic growth is awesome, but it's often beneficial to supplement it with some targeted marketing efforts.
So how do we do that while still staying true to Thiel's philosophy?
Well, he cautions against spreading your resources too thin.
Right.
It's about finding those high-impact channels
Right.
where you can really reach your ideal customer effectively.
So not trying to be everywhere at once,
Right.
just focusing on a few key channels.
Exactly.
Like maybe it's influencer marketing, content creation, or partnering with other brands.
Yeah.
Quality over quantity.
Precisely, make every marketing effort count.
Okay, so that brings us to another crucial aspect of building a successful e-commerce business, thinking long term.
Yeah, Thiel is really adamant about this.
What does he say?
Don't chase fleeting trends. And don't focus solely on short-term gains.
Right.
You want to build a business that's sustainable, adaptable, and focused on creating real value for your customers.
Play the long game. But how do you balance this long-term vision with the need to stay relevant in a world that's constantly changing?
Yeah, that's the challenge. It requires a mindset of continuous learning and adaptation.
Okay.
Stay informed about emerging trends, experiment with new technologies and marketing channels, and be willing to pivot your strategy when necessary.
So like be a ship navigating uncharted waters, constantly adjusting course.
That's a great analogy. The ability to adapt is essential for long-term success in e-commerce.
Yeah, because like things change so quickly.
All the time.
The platforms, the technologies, consumer behaviors.
Everything.
So you got to be flexible.
Exactly. You can't be rigid.
So it's about finding that balance between staying true to your core values, but also being willing to adapt to the changing tides of the e-commerce world.
Right.
This is where it all comes together. It's not just about individual tactics or strategies. It's about building this cohesive and sustainable business.
Right. A business that can really thrive over the long term.
And as the final part of our deep dive, we're going to explore some real-world examples of e-commerce businesses that are actually doing this successfully.
Exactly. We'll look at some case studies.
And we'll leave you with some actionable takeaways that you can apply to your own ventures.
Stay tuned.
All right, so we've talked about unearthing those secrets, building a community, and playing the long game. Now let's see how these 0 to 1 principles actually play out in the real world of e-commerce.
Yeah, let's look at some examples.
Like some companies that are actually doing this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I think Warby Parker is a great example.
Oh, yeah, they're doing some really cool things.
They entered a market that was totally dominated by like a few major players. But instead of trying to compete on price or selection, they found their secret by completely like reimagining the customer experience.
Right. Buying glasses can be such a hassle. And Warby Parker just like turned that on its head.
Totally.
They made it fun, convenient, and affordable, all while offering like really stylish frames.
Exactly. And they also understood the power of online distribution. They started as an exclusively online retailer.
Which allowed them to cut out the middleman.
Right. And offer lower prices.
Yes.
And then they strategically expanded into brick and mortar stores, but only in locations that made sense for their target audience and brand aesthetic.
Yeah. They didn't just like randomly open stores everywhere.
It was very calculated.
It's like a perfect example of blending online and offline strategies while staying true to their core values of like accessibility and customer delight.
Yeah, they've done a great job.
And speaking of delight, another company that comes to mind is Allbirds.
Oh yeah, Allbirds, they're awesome.
And I love their shoes.
They've really tapped into this growing demand for sustainability and ethical sourcing.
for sure.
Their shoes are made from like natural materials like merino wool and eucalyptus tree fiber.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And their whole brand story emphasizes comfort, quality, and a commitment to environmental responsibility.
And they don't just talk about it. They've like woven sustainability into every part of their business.
Exactly, from their supply chain to their packaging.
It's not just a marketing gimmick.
No, they're walking the walk.
Which really resonates with their target audience.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, people are becoming more and more conscious about the environmental impact of their choices.
Absolutely.
And Allbirds is like speaking directly to that.
Yeah, they've created this loyal following.
Yeah.
These customers see Allbirds as more than just a shoe company.
Right.
They see it as a brand that aligns with their values.
Like a movement.
Yeah, and that translates to organic growth and positive word-of-mouth marketing. Because people are proud to wear their Allbirds and share their experience.
Yeah, they're not just buying shoes, they're buying into a whole ethos.
Exactly.
It shows the power of authenticity and building a brand that stands for something beyond just profit.
Absolutely.
But okay, so you've got a fantastic product, you've got a compelling brand story, you still need to get it in front of the right people.
Right. You need to make sure people actually see it.
This is where distribution and marketing come into play.
Yeah.
And for that, let's look at Dollar Shave Club. They completely disrupted the razor market.
Oh, yeah, they did.
By going direct to consumer with this subscription model.
And their marketing was brilliant.
It really was.
They understood their target audience. These were men who were tired of overpaying for razors.
Right.
And they created this hilarious viral video that just perfectly captured that frustration.
Now, that video was a game changer. It got millions of views.
Yeah, it put Dollar Shave Club on the map.
They understood that you need to cut through the noise, especially in today's media landscape.
Right, you got to grab people's attention.
And they weren't afraid to be bold and unconventional.
Yeah, they took a product that was seen as like mundane and boring.
Yeah.
And they made it fun and engaging.
Which I think is a really important lesson.
Yeah.
Even in these like established industries, there's always room for disruption and innovation. Okay, so let's wrap this up. What are some key takeaways our listeners can apply to their own e-commerce ventures?
Well, I think first, don't underestimate the power of a great customer experience. It's not just about the product itself. Yeah. It's about the entire journey, from browsing to purchase to post-sale support.
Make it easy, make it enjoyable.
Yeah.
Second, find a way to differentiate yourself. What makes your brand unique? What problem are you solving that no one else is? Remember, it's about carving out your own niche.
Right. Create that mini monopoly.
Where you can thrive.
Yeah.
Third, build a community. Engage with your audience. Create a sense of belonging. Make people feel like they're part of something special.
Yeah, exactly.
And finally, don't be afraid to experiment and adapt. The e-commerce landscape is constantly changing, so stay curious, stay informed, and be willing to evolve.
As Peter Thiel says, it's about going from 0 to 1. It's about creating something new, something valuable, something that makes a real impact.
So to all our ambitious listeners out there, we encourage you to embrace these principles, find your own secrets, and build something extraordinary. That's it for this deep dive into 0 to 1 for e-commerce. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep building.